Welcome back, everyone. Good evening, happy Friday. The weekend's upon us. I hope your day's treating you well. Today has been an interesting day, you know. Solar problems continue to plague the farm here. Power shut off at 3:15 today. There are fires pretty much all around us, like in California to the west, to the east in Colorado, to the north in northern Nevada, pretty much everywhere, right? So the sky is full of smoke, and it's pretty nasty. It's blocking all the sun, smells horrible. And so, of course, with our solar issues, our power just shut down. Wasn't getting hardly anything in the solar system. So then, we try to go to our backup power generator, power in a battery charger, and it just won't let any power through, We just continue to struggle with these issues. But today has been an amazing day of revelations and discovery, really. Just taking a whole battery bank apart, 2 batteries at a time. We have 10 batteries total, which are wired together to make 5 big batteries, okay, at 24 volts. So we took off 2 at a time, put the battery charger on those 2, checked how much it was charging. Nada. It charged the same on every single pair of batteries. We even checked the voltage on the batteries. They were like standing at 12.4 volts when they were separated from the 24 volt system. And, we found nothing. We're like, okay, our batteries don't have much voltage when they're all hooked together. And for some reason, they're all reading full. What's going on, So we just start putting the voltmeter on everything, just trying to figure it out. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Just trying to gather as much data as possible. And lo and behold, we, we're like, is the battery charger fighting with the solar system? So we go shut the solar system off, and then nope, the battery charger is still charging its low amount. Okay, so dang it, that wasn't the problem. And we pretty much just spent all day checking this thing and that thing and this thing and that. All to do with the batteries. Very boring. And we found 2 amazing things. One, when we were checking the voltage it was getting to the battery system, we put the voltmeter on the outside, essentially, of the charge controller to measure what voltage is coming into the charge controller. It was like 36 volts or something crazy high. Then on the other side of the charge controller, which is supposed to, put the right charge to the batteries, control the charge that they get, was reading 24.7 volts. That is very, very far away from charging voltage for a 24 volt battery system. It's supposed to be 28.8 volts. That's basically hundreds of % off from what it could actually be charging into the system. So, I apologize I don't have it this second, but whoever just told me a couple days ago that my charge controller is junk, you are so right, sir. Or madam. Don't want to make any assumptions there. But, yeah, it's junk. I can't even adjust it, you're supposed to have multiple modes for charge controllers, let's see, float, equalize, actually charge, And in its charge mode, it's 24.7 volts. It's nothing. I could sit here for months, and my batteries would hardly do anything. Probably because they're so sulfated by now that none of the charge can actually reach the batteries. But luckily, my inverters have low voltage protection and have shut off every time. So if I can now do something to change that situation, I should be able to bounce my batteries back, because it's a lot of money that I have invested in those 10 batteries. Big truck batteries aren't cheap. So the other huge thing that I found is, we found out the voltage drop on the charge controller. We're like, woohoo! But wait, dang it. Now what? We have to buy another charge controller? Again? The main thing that we're having right now is that, okay, so our charge controller is limiting the voltage that the solar system dumps into our battery bank, right? And is never allowing that power to get to the voltage it needs to push in the amps to the batteries so we can have power. So again, at 3:15 p.m. today, our power shut off with all the clouds in the sky and the haze. And so we were really relying on that battery roller or the battery cart in order to top off the batteries at night to try to bring us up, But for some reason, it just was not outputting amperage at all, And so we checked the generator. We have a kilowatt, and we put on there. It's cycling perfectly, everything. Seemingly, but just wasn't working. So I'm like, okay, what if we clean the power somehow? The only power we got that's clean is the inverter. So what the heck? So I grab an extension cord of cleaned power after the inverter, plug in the battery charger, turn it on, and then, bam, over 30 amps. I think that for some reason the generator power that we have is so dirty, or the battery charging cart requires such clean power or something that it's just not having it. Because we took the battery charging cart down to Napa. We're like, hey, what the heck? It's like $200 charge cart, doesn't even charge anything. Of course, they go wheel it over to their station and be like, well, it works just fine on our stuff. Must be you. Get out of here. So yeah, what's the difference between my place and a store? Well, they just plug it into a wall where a giant company takes care of all the cleaning of the power, right? It's pretty nice coming out of the wall, mostly. Here. So that's all I can think of, And so with these two huge revelations that I've discovered today with Bianca and my searching around, is I think we have a beat on exactly how to fix our system, right? Okay, during the day, no matter if we got 100% of the solar input that could be possible, if I read 1,000 watts on the charge controller, it wouldn't even matter, because it's only letting 24.4 volts into the system. As for the amperage, don't really know, It's a 60 amp charger. It's supposed to let a lot of amperage in, but it's definitely not, I can tell you that much. It's supposed to let 28.8 volts in at 60 amps maximum, and it is currently letting 24.4 in. 7, whatever. Not enough. So, with these two things, I now have an exact direction on which to go to solve our power woes. I need to, 1, kick that charge controller in the garbage, return it, whatever. It's not doing what it's supposed to do, it's a joke. It's put us into this situation. It has not allowed our solar power to get to our battery bank. And so I need to replace it with one that has adjustable power settings, so I can choose the voltage that goes into the battery bank and set it correctly for my type of battery in the system I have. The second part is I need to disconnect the house from the solar system so that any power that I draw in the house does not draw from the batteries. I did that like a week, maybe 2 ago. It worked for a little bit, but it wasn't long enough, and especially with the charge controller limiting the voltage, didn't really do much. So I'm going to have to, unfortunately, run the house back on generator power again while the PV system slow soaks the batteries and time passes to where I can get paid again and we can get a better charge controller or something, And then, once that happens, all the power will be able to slam into the battery bank, bring it back up to charge, hopefully full. I can do all this monkeying around again with tearing the whole battery bank down and checking all the voltage, and then hopefully getting over this problem once and for all, Because after kicking around for a few days and reading, there are people with smaller systems than we have that draw more that are having no problems at all, right? Therefore, our system, as we have it, sized, meaning 1,000 watts of solar, the inverter we have, with the amount of draw that we use, should be okay. So, I don't want to go let's keep on putting more input and more input, when I might be able to solve the problem just by getting another charge controller, So, hooray for today. It's weird when days are stressful, yet they reveal something with the problem, and then you might have a solution, It's a good place to be. That glimmer of hope, it really helps when you're this far into rabbit hole, meaning, you know, all in the middle of the desert, off-grid, 100% of your power is on solar, your whole house is wired to the solar, and nothing's happening, you're trying to run a generator, and that don't even work, right? Kind of like back yourself in a corner like we have. This little glimmer of hope that we keep on getting is really nice. And I also want to say, you know, thank you, those of you who watch that comment on the videos, like, oh, maybe it's this, or it could be that, or this is junk, you know. Those comments really help us out. You know, we're complete noobs. We don't know what we're doing. There's no manual for this type of stuff. We do research, we try to make intelligent decisions, but unfortunately, you know, there are like gotchas like right now. So I appreciate you. Keep on commenting. It helps us out a lot. So I hope your Friday's going good. Ours is. Have a great weekend. See you next time, alright? Well, this is a farm channel, not a solar channel, so I figured I'd just give you 2 updates before I let you go. 1, this is my desert watermelon. I hope it don't taste like sand. I brought it in from the field, soaked it in water, and look what it's done. Secondly is, well, apparently it's raining. Oh man, I hope this sets the tone for the weekend. I love this random desert